Right, welcome back. Last time, we conquered the rest of, what was it again? Cuizmanco and Chimu. So, well, the English conquered Mapuche on the last of the independent natives on the continent. Or at least, that is represented as a country in game. Because there's, of course, also random tribals sitting around. But apparently some provinces don't actually have any population, at least not in the natives category, which would make it easier to colonize, but really that doesn't matter, does it, the numbers? I've also technically unlocked cavalry, but it's a bit iffy. I think I need to unlock the next unit type for it to work. At the very least, I no longer have a massive shock penalty, so fighting against the English, should they invade, should be a bit easier. I've also gone ahead and embraced meritocracy, so... And I could, in theory, embrace Colombian imports and commercialization, but I'm going to wait with Colombian imports for a long, long while, because that's going to easily spread across the country. It takes about 2 decades for it to get to a new province, which is fairly fast for an institution. Perhaps even faster. Heck, over here, it's going to take only 6 more years, and it's 62% done, so less than 2 decades. With commercialization, I want to wait until it's in the capital, which will not take that long, hopefully. It's not happening this year, but maybe next year. And then I'll jump up in admin and diplotech and maybe grab miltech 40. Casual literacy shouldn't be that hard to obtain, though. Considering that this takes very little time, Colombian imports, and casual literacy, at least Angola, is fairly quick. Chaka's going to take a while longer, but that's not a big deal, and I'm sure that Cuzco will do it extremely quickly, considering that there's even more knowledge production in Cuzco than there is in Angola. Anyway. Great, general died. I've also adjusted my taxation scheme, dramatically increased the amount of points I invest into admin or diplo, while also dramatically reducing the amount I invest in military, because I have so much manpower that I don't need, and I need the money. Sadly, realm expenses have become increasingly expensive, and I'm not entirely certain why. Yeah, it's largely military, but the sheer amount of wages I need to pay. Doesn't actually have all that much effect. Yearly inflation reduction minus 0.01, interest per annum minus 1. But it increases class investment in infrastructure, as well as commerce output and urban industry output. As a cost, it decreases the cottage industry output, but, well, I don't have that much cottage industry as far as I know, so. Okay, time to tech jump. Multiple mass, ship durability plus 2%, trade range plus 50. Heavy ship guns. I mean, I'll seal maps, and naval morale plus 0.25. Bombardiers. Naval morale plus 0.25, naval engagement increased by 15, enables ships that aren't for me. Dry docks. Naval force limit plus 5%. Goldsmith moneylenders. Trade range plus 60, trade efficiency plus 0.5% probably. Enables the bark. Cross staffs. Global naval engagement with plus 5%, may study technology, trade range plus 60, and gives me a new accepted culture slot, which is the last one. Alright, civil law. And at this point we're starting to hit casual literacy limits. Yearly corruption plus 0.02. Great. Allows another group of ideas. Yeah, definitely administrative. Ooh, I can get expansion ideas. Cool. Local colonial growth for non-overseas provinces with active colonists plus 100. Sure. I mean, there's no reason for me to not pick this up when given the opportunity. I don't think I've ever actually taken expansion ideas because usually I go for exploration. especially since expansion and exploration, I believe, are mutually exclusive based upon this graphic right here. So, local scouts. When exploring a new area, collaborate with the locals. They know it better than anyone else. Colonist +1. Dedicated effort. New settlements are hard to set up, especially in regions that haven't historically supported them. Sometimes the only thing to do is to try and try again. Local colonial growth for non-overseas province with active colonists +100. That sounds absurd. And is very strong if it's true. Global settler increase +5. Private collaboration. There's fortunes to be made, and that means people willing to do some of our work for us. Let them. Automatically discover gyms and colonies built. New lands. Nothing like novelty to attract interest. And once people see the prospects, well, they don't need further encouragement. Colony cost modifier -50%. Place in the sun. Hardly seems fair that other realms expand across the globe and we be left at home. We should stake our claim to a place among the colonial powers. Settler chance +25%. Making trails. These are the pioneers of a tradition that will last many years. Plotters of courses to be used by merchants and travelers for centuries to come. Caravan power +10%. Finally, the frontier. Adventure awaits for those brave enough to meet it. Stories to be made and land to be claimed. All to pass down to the next generation. Just don't mention the dysentery. Can fabricate claims in any colonial region belonging to another nation who are also overseas from the province or to their colonial nations. Core creation cost -5%. Province war score cost -10% as a finisher. I could also pick up with Grand... Well, I'm never getting that. I have professional army ideas, so I'm not going to get grand army ideas because, well, yeah. I don't think native uprisings even happen, so... Alright, let's try and cut off Colombia. I have enough mill points, why not? Late Tercios. Okay. Yeah, Gallop Cavalry. Siege ability +10%. Ooh. Lamaron +0.09, Combat Wits +2, Infantry Fire +0.25. And there is no major difference between the two. It's just a question of whether we have offensive fire and defensive morale, or balanced fire and offensive morale, which I'll take the offensive fire. Countermarch. Because to be honest, there isn't that much of a difference between offensive and defensive pips, since all defensive pips do is counter the offensive pips of enemy units in the same category, so it really doesn't matter much. Offensive is more effective, is especially effective against worse unit types. That's pretty much it. Anyway, moving on. And Statesman. Great. Moving on. After I've picked. Sure. Why not? Let's go with you. Right, State and State Core. I genuinely wasn't expecting to be able to pick up expansion ideas that easily. Okay, I'll take it. Let's see if that +100 really is true. Yep, it is. Expansion ideas, dedicated effort. So it goes from just +13 to the +113, ignoring the 33% chance of gaining extra progress each month, which is an average of 27.8 people per year, which is certainly double than the base rate. So. But the +100 means that so long as I colonize a long territory that I'm connected to, it only takes less than 10 years. In this case, it will only take 9, because 113 even ignoring the fact that the colonist will provide a little extra, even if not much. Yeah, while it's active, I probably should grab at least a couple tech levels. An Avon and Diplo. Private Watchman. Stability cost and roll -1%. Mannerism. Admin efficiency +2. It is glorious to have tech cost less than 200 points. Realist Politics. Stability cost interval -1%. Gymnasium Schools. That's another idea group. And okay, I'll wait on the enclosures until later. Oh wait, raw goods produced +5%. Okay, I'll take that and then stop with the admin tech. Raw goods produced +5% and also maximum resource size +2.5%. Circuit navigation of the globe. Ship durability +2%. Enables pathing rank 4, I guess. Oh, and trade range +60. Galleons. Naval force limit +5%. Trade range +30. The Navy Board. Siege blockade progress +1. Ship durability +2%. Naval morale +0.2. Naval engagement +10. I don't even have a Navy right now, so it's actually not that helpful. Okay, I'll stop with the Diplotech. Apparently... No, that's... yeah, okay, so they have about 40, don't they? I would say. I lost them. Okay, there they are. Went a little too far in the wrong direction, but... 41, okay. Definitely grabbing the military DO group, that's guaranteed. And professional armies is really good overall. But sadly, it doesn't have anything that reduces training costs and so on. It does reduce military advisor costs as well as conscript and volunteer costs. I probably should. Yeah. Lower investment even further into military taxes. I mean, I'm fairly certain it's going down even in Cuzco. Oh, okay, conscription is still fairly high. Wow. I'm still getting more people in the National Army inside of Cuzco. What? What is going on there? Yeah. At the very least, it seems to be centralizing into my main provinces, which is fine by me. Yeah, okay, good. At least in external locations that are way, way out there, there no longer seems to be any investment whatsoever. They're still spending on training, but the number of people here is reducing. Well, we're standing in arms. Some locations had more. After all, they did have a military, these states that were here, and it takes a while for it to vanish. Alright, time to lower it even further. Assuming, yeah, okay, that's gonna be... I am not gonna go below 2. That is a terrible idea. That should be somewhat mitigated by taking all these ideas. Civilian life. When someone else... I think I take this every time. Bureaucratic investment into state levies +10%. Stability increase interval -5%. Monthly war exhaustion -0.01. Military treatises. Morale of armies +5%. Yearly army tradition +1. That is a rather rare buff. Formal education. Infantry combat ability +7.5%. Land leader fire +1. Veterancy. Army tradition from battles +100%. The reserves. Reinforced speed +5%, as well as the same for reduced morale damage taken by reserves. Combined arms. Cavalry and artillery combat ability +11.5%, and artillery damage from the back rows +10%. Military staff. Conscript and volunteer cost -5%. General cost -5%. Military advisor cost -25%, and as a finisher bonus, Discipline plus 3.5%. Yearly army professionalism plus 0.5%. And I can also get staff corps if I pick up bureaucratic ideas, but probably not. Oh yes, I need to do internal stuff, don't I? Actually, I could go for a major reform right now. I'm not sure if they'll like it. Not particularly, so I'm gonna need to give a bit more than usual. The range of strategic marriage actually has a 5-year, well, cooldown. I think that's with the effect of that active, so. Okay, I do need to promote the bureaucratic faction because with the aristocrats constantly boosted, it's actually not enough influence. This will raise corruption, but this will mean that I'm not going to get quite as much manpower anymore, sadly. And I won't be able to get manpower from the nobles anymore, but that means that I'm completely independent off of them. And also reduce the amount of manpower that I run through. So that's nice. And an axe. It's actually not that expensive. Pushing this through. That's definitely going to lower their loyalty for a while. No. Anything I want to do here? Nah, everything requires 80 state reach. Except for this one, which is unpopular for good reason. Is my average autonomy worsened that much? I would love to have sovereign law. Although, admittedly, academia is required for some of this stuff to reform to this. At the very least, it's slowly going to grow either way. I will recall corrupt officials, though, in order to get provincial corruption down again. Anything else? I probably should actually promote and support commerce. Fairly cheap and mostly beneficial. It's really not a good reason not to do it. I do wonder where all that unrest is coming from in some look. Poll tax, isn't it? The fact that it's only 2.9 unrest with a high poll tax does indicate how low unrest is in general, though. I can perform a show of devotion. It doesn't cost that much prestige, and this is around the resting point, right? Yeah. So many minor centers of learning, though. That's fascinating. Honestly, some of these locations could use the addition of... Not producing casual literacy? Is there just not enough knowledge production in the province? It actually wouldn't surprise me too much in particular. Yeah, 0.962. It's gonna take a while for... well, it to fill. But I'm sure there's plenty of literati here. Yeah. Certainly hope the new timber industries do their thing, though. Because simply put, there is just not enough timber produced. In fact, this province doesn't even produce enough timber for itself. Well, that's probably partially due to the fact that coal requires... no, actually, it's nowhere near the problem. The timber industry, just build it up. In fact, I might do some large investments just to get the timber industry properly running. Normally, you shouldn't do this, just so that everyone knows. Investing 50 ducats into an industry is usually a bad idea, but I kinda need the timber. There. Targeted investments. Do your thing. Okay. English Columbia, English Brazil. Yeah, the only rivals are the colonies of England. It's gonna be difficult trying to keep up with them, but I have to. They are the only ones on the continent, so eventually I might need to fight them off. Problem is that there's no easy way for me to learn what's going on. So I'm not going to be able to effectively communicate with anyone outside of maybe trying to get more provinces, but yeah. Well, maps, etc. I'm hoping I can learn about people's overlords and whatnot. Anyway, I think I'll just go ahead and do a little bit of expand diplomatic service to the lesser aristocrats. Just gonna further lower the resting point for state corruption. Exchange, promote the aristocratic faction. I hate these reforms so much. Dishonor a popular relative because I keep maxing out my legitimacy, which is so weird to have that now. Fine, just keep arranging strategic marriage. I do, since I'm doing rapid reforms. I think I'll do one more prestigious diplomacy and then leave them for the time being. Nah, actually I don't want to touch that. Not right now. Yeah, I think I'm gonna mess around with taxation again. I think by now, with how things have stabilized again, I think I could finally start lowering how much stuff I tax back down to a more normal level of 15 each. Oh, and if you didn't say that, yes, my manpower taxation is now down to 1. Yeah. It's really, really funny how effective my military is, though it is very much waving up and down over and over. It's very inconsistent. It's hilariously so. I've now definitely carved myself a stable rank 6 position. It'll be extremely difficult to get past, say, Russia or Iberia. Even Great that would take a while. Though I could probably obtain it with 9 out of 10 institutions. If I remember correctly, 9 institutions is a minus 33% penalty. So I think every institution increases your score by 50% of what it previously was. So in other words, every missing institution gives you a 33% penalty. So it multiplies you by 6.66. Now, I don't want to calculate this by hand, so I'm just gonna see what 0.66 to the 10th is. You want 2/3 to the 10th. %1.7%. Yeah, that sounds about right. Given that paradox truncates, so... Oh yeah, that's right. There is something I forgot to do. Now that I have because I did do a reform, now I can have centralized, which is the maximum, so... Yes, I have upgraded to career soldiery. That way I can avoid the issues of... Well... I wanted to lower my manpower, actually. Because my finances were just extremely unstable because of the sheer cost that the military had. I mean, there's also the fact that the bureaucracy costs way too much. But I think my income has stabilized. It is especially helped by the fact that, due to some inconsistencies with the update, I have a mix of the old timber industry, which provides raw materials and fuel, and the new timber industry, which I actually have to start from scratch, which produces the new timber good and fuel. Bear in mind that timber is very, very demanded, so I'm currently working on building it up, but it's going to take a long while. I am currently producing 2,660 units of timber inside of this node, which is pretty much the only node that's producing timber. And the demand inside the node is more than double that. And then I have another node here, which I don't think produces any timber whatsoever, and it's demanding almost another 1,000 of it. Thankfully, the price is slowly going down, but it's still atrociously expensive, which is kind of bad actually, since it's apparently very useful of a good. But the price going down does mean that things are stabilizing. Additionally, the free fall that was previously experienced by the finances of all the other estates has vanished for the most part, although the burghers still have some troubles, although that has to do with the fact that trade is done in 2 phases. First it buys, then it sells, so it's going to be immensely... It's going to lack profit immensely one phase, and then it's going to have a huge amount of profit the other. Oh well. I now have a properly centralized military, which apparently the colonies here do not. Except for English Peru for some reason. Oh, they have a high quality army, I guess. The others don't. Although they have much more of an army. Huh. An independent Brazil would be much easier to deal with, wouldn't it? And simply put, I stand no chance against England. There's just too many troops out here. And I would need to build proper defensive positions. At the very least, most of my terrain is easy to defend. But I would need to build up for that. Thankfully, the sheer amount of money that I'm obtaining lately, although I'm going to be burning most of that on institutions. By the way, I have embraced commercialization, and it's spreading, slowly, but it's spreading. Casual literacy will take some time longer. I want it to arrive in at least Gola, which will take some time longer. Charka's going to take even longer, which does not bode well for producing scientific methods. Though it will start to spread eventually. Yeah, I think I have enough active districts to make the most of it. I have also embraced Colombian imports, which has spread to almost the entire country. Just some newly colonized area in these interior jungle provinces. Additionally, that means that over time, new crops will arrive. Yep, they have here. So far, it's only potatoes that are effective in most locations, but over time, the others will adapt more and more. I mean, the maize stands no chance, but there's still the wheat, barley, rice, millet. And once they're fully adopted, they will start spreading to nearby provinces. Though, again, this will take a heck of a long time. Especially considering the potato is amazing and will probably outcompete almost everything anyway. But more options just in case there are areas that they work better in. Like, it figures the potato might not do... Okay, it's doing fairly good here still, yeah. Yeah, okay, fine. I think the potato might be here to stay anyway. I've picked up quite a lot, and also picked up 2 new idea groups, Expansion and Professional Army Ideas. Expansion has actually a very interesting one right here. In case you can't read that first line with a gray number, local colonial growth for non-overseas provinces with active colonists plus 100. So yes, that's in plus 100 settlers per year if you happen to be adjacent. So that's how I'm able to get this fairly quickly. About double the pace of colonial frontiers, which are actually insanely fast. They just are. I'm just happy that the colonies are unwilling to expand beyond their colonial regions, so it at least gives me time to properly set up a barrier in case I need it, and start filling in these provinces. And hopefully get a lot of new timber industries that will help me move forward from the timber shortage. Giant timber shortage. Peru keeps trying to become my rival and then failing. They're the only ones actually willing to do something like that. I kind of need to think on supporting their independence, because while they are strong, I'm not sure if they're strong enough. How are the other colonies looking? 22.6%. Yeah, Peru's not leaving anytime soon. I wonder what's got... It might be actually better diplomatic technology. I also have a spy network in England to make tech cheaper. There. And yeah. I have not put cavalry into my military, though I may at some point. And to be honest, I've not been touching the military for a while. At the moment, they're just, I just have 1 stack of troops here to keep unrest low while I convert the province. Religion might actually be a bit of an issue up here, but along these areas, no. It won't be a problem at all. Anyway, too few rivals, right. I think I've gone on long enough. Anyway, I'll see you again next time. Until then.